Hello, welcome to Yoga with Adriann White at the Community Arts Center in Westmont. Today we have an hour-long yoga practice to help us loosen and limber muscles and joints, build a little bit of strength, and work on our balance. We start every yoga class with an opening relaxation, and that's our time to step away, not just physically from the activities of the day, but to make the mental and the emotional transition away from our sense of rushing, of hurrying, away from feeling stressed and pressured, to a point where we can find a spot where we can sit or lie down comfortably. If we know we're safe, we can let our eyelids gently drift closed. The better to help us focus on not just slowing and settling, but also the better to help us focus our attention and our awareness here in this moment and on ourselves. So as you settle into your comfortable position and let the shoulders roll back, let the neck relax, and let the eyelids gently drift closed. Let's begin to feel that breath. We breathe every moment of every day. Yet so often we don't pay any attention to our breath unless we are having difficulty breathing. In yoga, we celebrate the breath. We enjoy feeling the air flowing through the nostrils and the sinuses, feeling that vital, life-giving breath flowing down our throat and into our chest and our lungs. And we use the long, slow exhale of the breath out as a way to help us just release stress and tension. So as you're sitting comfortably or laying comfortably with eyes closed, just notice how the breath moves into and out of your body. And then notice how your body moves with your breath. As we breathe in, our ribs expand, not just forward, but also out to the sides and to the back. And then as we breathe out, the ribs gently contract all the way around. And that happens with every inhale and with every exhale. Our body moving with our breath. If you would like, you can place one hand between the bottom of your ribs and your navel. And as you breathe in, do you feel your abdomen pressing out into your hand? And as you exhale, do you feel the abdomen gently sinking back in? That's because the diaphragm muscle at the bottom of our ribs is working to help expand the ribs to pull air in and contract the ribs to push air out. And so we feel the effects in our abdomen of the movement of that diaphragm muscle. And we want to feel that movement because when we are doing diaphragmatic breathing, that means we're doing our best breathing technique that we can. So just let your body relax. Let your breath flow. Can we let our muscles relax, especially if we're laying on our back? If you're in what we call Shavasana or corpse pose, really let the floor support us. No need to have any tension or tightness in the neck or in the shoulders or the upper back, because the floor behind us holds us from head to hands to heels. And we can be at ease, surrendering to the support of the floor, allowing any muscle tension or tightness to simply drain away. We'll start our yoga stretches doing a tension reliever stretch. So now if you are sitting, can we go ahead and come to lay on our mat? If you are using any yoga props, can we gently slide them to the side? And from our corpse pose, let's inhale to reach both arms to the wall beyond the head. Allow the backs of your hands and your arms to sink as low to the ground as your shoulder will permit. If you have a shoulder that's giving you some trouble, that happens sometimes, support that arm by putting your yoga block under your hand. Help make your shoulders a little more comfortable. Now let's bend at the ankles to push out with our heels, creating the length from fingers, through arms, through ribs and waist and abdomen, through lower back and legs. Remember, we hold the pose, yet we continue to breathe. Our breath still flows. Now we'll add some side body stretch. Can we walk our heels and calves towards your right side? We want to keep both buttocks flat to the mat. And then once we've walked heels and calves to the right, can we walk the hands, the arms, the head, the shoulders to the right? So we're curving our body like a banana. In fact, some yoga instructors call this banana pose. And we'll finish the stretch by turning our right ear down to the ground. And can we notice the lengthening that occurs from left fingers, through the arm, the shoulder, through the left side of the neck, all the way down the left side of the body to the heel. If you would like a little more stretch in left outer ankle and calf, pivot on the point of that left heel to rotate your foot, turning the sole of that left foot to face the inside of your right calf. Left toes still point up to the sky. And notice, does that change what you feel in outside of left ankle and calf? And then if you feel that you have room to add a little more stretch, another option would be to cross left ankle over right. Noticing where in your body does that additional stretch be felt. And again, we breathe. Noticing how much longer the entire left side of our body feels than the right side. When you're ready, we'll do a breath in. And on the exhale, we can uncross the legs. We can gently walk our arms, our legs, our torso back to our corpse pose, trying to rest ourselves equally, symmetrically on the mat. Yet as we notice how our bodies feel, does the left side of our body still feel a little longer or more stretched than the right half? We'll do our second tension reliever stretch again, inhaling to reach through fingers and arms. If you'd like, spread your fingers wide. And if you're able to bring backs of the hands to the mat, can you lay the back of each and every finger and thumb to the mat? And then on a breath out, we'll bend at the ankles, pointing toes up to the ceiling. Can you point your tailbone to the wall beyond your feet so that we create length in abdomen and lower back? And as we're pushing out with our heels, we can feel the length in the back of the legs. We'll turn this into our banana pose, walking heels and calves as far to the left side as your body will let you go, seeing if we can still keep right heel and right buttock to the mat. And then to finish our banana pose, we add the upper body, hands and arms, head and shoulders, also curving left and turning left ear down to the ground. How does right half of your body feel? Can you reach out a little more with right hand? Can you push out a little more with right heel? Remember, we're breathing. And then can we pivot on the point of right heel so that while our toes continue to point up to the sky, the sole of our right foot turns to face the inside of our left calf. And then if you feel that you'd like a little more stretch, there is the option to cross right ankle over left. Noticing, are we feeling more outer thigh, outer hip, lower back stretch? Remember, you're working and stretching to the point where your body goes, ah, I feel that stretch. But we don't want to cross over that invisible line where it becomes, ow, that hurts. Pain's a warning signal that says, please don't do this or it'll cause injury. So we respect that warning, stopping before we reach the point of, ow, that hurts. When you're ready, we can uncross the legs, and on a breath out, let's bring ourselves back to our corpse pose. Again, can we lay equally, symmetrically on the mat? And as we return to our slow, deep breaths, we can notice, do the two halves of our body feel equal? Or is there still a difference from left and right side? Notice, what difference do you feel? Where do you feel the difference? It's neither good nor bad. It's neither right or wrong. It simply is. Now we'll do some stretch down the front of the body with a little back bend by doing what we call fish pose or Matsyasana. If we lay our hands to the floor, palms down, on an exhale we can hunch our shoulders up to our ears, noticing how our hands slide on the mat. And if we're really hunched, we can bend our elbows so that forearms and elbows rest against the mat. As we press with those elbows, inhale and let your chest lift up to the sky. Now notice I can hold my head off the floor by pushing harder. In our fish pose, we do not want to support any weight on the head, even if we are letting the crown of our head touch the floor. Have your arms do all the work of supporting that upper torso. Noticing how we have an upper back arch, how we have lots of width across the chest, lots of length in the throat, lots of length all the way down to the abdomen. To come out, we can gently start to point our chin towards our chest. Arms can lower us back down. And then once you have the flat of your head to the floor, let's just gently roll our neck left and right, as if we're turning one ear to the mat and then the other. If your chin bumps into your shoulders, that's a reminder you still have your shoulders hunched, so relax them back. And then when you're ready, we'll bring our head back to center. Now we'll do some lower back bends by doing bridge pose. So when you're ready, we bend the knees. Feet are hip width apart, and where possible, we try to bring our heels under our knees as much as we can. Arms again are by our sides, palms down, feet press into the mat. Where in fish pose, we lift the chest and upper torso. In bridge pose, we lift lower torso and hips. Fish pose was generated by pushing with the arms and the shoulders. Bridge pose is generated by pushing with the feet and using the muscles in the backs of our legs and our glutes. Can we keep toes and knees pointed straight forward so that thighs are parallel? And when you're ready, exhale, come on back down. And relax. Now we did a lot to widen chest and shoulders and to lengthen from throat to tailbone. Let's do the opposite. We can lace our fingers behind the upper back of our head, and we'll tuck our our forearms in against our temples so the hands can lift the head up. And as we tuck our chin to our collarbone, now can we exhale and pull our knees up towards our elbows so that our neck and our tailbone both curl away from the mat, creating some length in our spine. Little strength in the front of the shoulders, little strength in the abdomen. And then when you're ready, hands can carefully return the head back to the mat. We can inhale, feet to the floor and open elbows wide. And then on the breath out, release the arms, extend the legs. We'll return to our corpse pose, our resting pose. Again, we'll do a fish or Matsyasana with arms, palms down by our sides. We hunch the shoulders to the ears. We press the forearms and elbows into the mat, lifting chest up, gently allowing head to hang back. Depending on how comfortable or uncomfortable you are, you can stay in the pose, or if you'd like, tuck the chin to the chest, and then just carefully lower back down. Not everybody likes their head hanging backwards, so if it's uncomfortable for your neck, give yourself a break when you're ready. And now we'll do a second bridge pose. Again, exhaling, put our feet flat to the floor. Hip width apart, heels under the knees. Just like before, arms are palms down and by our sides. And again, as we push, use the whole foot. Use your toes, use the balls of your feet and your heels. And can we lift a little higher this time? You might be surprised how much higher you can go if you give yourself a chance. When you're ready, let's exhale, come on back down. And while we have knees bent, just take a moment, noticing how much more limber does front of your body feel? How much more limber does back of your body feel? We'll roll to one side, and we'll come on up to sit. And we'll see about doing some balance today. We can do balance in a sitting position, we can do balance in kneeling positions, we can do balance in standing positions. Let's get our yoga strap. We'll do Kundalini Lotus, so it's a seated balance pose. We can bring the soles of our feet together, and whether you use a yoga strap, a necktie, or a belt out of a bathrobe, let's put the strap around the outer edges of our feet. I like to hold one end of the strap in each hand so that I have a good grip on it. And now as I lift my legs up, my hands and arms are doing the strength of supporting my legs and my feet. And I'm finding my balance on my tailbone. Now our next balance is going to be the balance of pushing out with the heels and pulling back with the arms. So I'm going to turn sideways for this. Okay, we're all balanced on our sitting bones and our tailbones. Now, can we gently push away with the heels, letting the strap slowly slide from your fingers. If you pull too hard with the arms, you end up rolling backwards. If you push too hard with the heels, you end up falling or sitting forwards. So this is simply balance. Arm strength for bicep muscles, finger strength holding on to the strap. And then if you would like to contrast this with boat pose Navasana to feel how hard fingers and arms are working, notice what changes. Pull your belly button to your backbone, engage your abdominals, shorten and strengthen those quadriceps so that thighs are engaged, and now let go of the strap and notice how much more the abdominal and the quadricep muscles have to work since we don't have the strap to support us. Still balanced, but a lot more muscle strength. When you're ready, come on down. Let's do a seated forward bend. We've done some stretches for front of body with bridge pose and fish. Let's add some stretches to back of body with a seated forward bend. So if you can, nice long straight line from hips to heels. If your knees are bent, you can support those legs with a rolled up towel or a pillow or a block under the legs if your legs don't naturally straighten. Okay. We bend at hips. Since our spine is not a joint, we don't want to round our back or our shoulders. We want to sit tall, and we simply want to change the angle at the hip socket. Thinking of bringing our whole torso forward, maybe thinking of reaching our navel down towards our thighs, and gently keeping feet pointed up towards the sky. Now again, I have a little bend in my elbows so I can pull with the fingers, pull with the bicep muscles to gently come forward. Can you use the muscles between your shoulder blades to roll your shoulders back so that we maintain the openness and the width in the front of our chest and shoulders? Feeling any stretch in the back of the calves or the knees or the thighs? Let's inhale, come on up. And we'll gently set our strap aside. Now we'll do balance in a kneeling pose. So we'll come over to hands and knees. We'll do what's called kneeling plank. If you've ever gone to physical therapy, your therapist may call it bird dog pose. So with wrists under the shoulders and knees under the hips, nice neutral spine, don't let it droop. If it helps, think of push your belly button to backbone to support lower back. We'll stretch left arm forward, if possible, shoulder high. We press left foot flat to the mat, and now we lift our right leg behind us, pointing right toes down to the ground as we try to lift our heel as high as our hip. So kneeling plank, again sometimes called bird dog. Notice where you feel the strength of the pose. Notice where your body is lengthening in the pose. And as we balance on opposite hand and leg, does your balance get better or a little shakier the longer we hold the pose? Let's exhale, come on down. We can sit back into child's pose, letting the hips sit towards the heels. If this is uncomfortable for your knees, use your yoga block on the heels to get your hips a little higher, or put your block between your ankles and calves so that you can sit your hips to the block, taking some pressure off the knees. And then as we rest forehead to the floor, we can walk the arms out beyond the head. A little stretch for the shoulders and the chest, the outsides of the shoulders and the waist and the ribs. How's the lower back feeling? A little stretch there? Our glutes feeling a little stretch? When you're ready, we can pull with the fingers, coming back up to hands and knees. In yoga, also known as our table pose. And we'll do our opposite kneeling plank. So this time it's the right arm that reaches forward, if possible, shoulder high. Left heel pushes back, heel if possible, hip high. Now some schools of yoga say look beyond your fingertips to the wall beyond you. If that's uncomfortable for the back of the neck, maintain a straight neck by simply looking to the floor beneath your eyes. And notice in your body, is this the better side for balance? Is it easier to hold your right arm up than your left? How about holding left leg up versus right? And are we feeling any outer hip, glute, or outer thigh work here? When you're ready, we'll come on back down. And again, we'll sit back into our child's pose. This time, can you tuck your chin to your collarbone to lay the flat of your head to the mat and let the arms lay back aside of the legs. Remember, you're welcome to use a block if that's more comfortable for you. If you don't need the block, you can just let your hips sink to your heels, whether knees are together and you lay on top of the thighs, or whether knees open out to the edges of the mat and you lay between the thighs. And we breathe. We're creating a little length from the base of our skull all the way to the tailbone. And since our arms are laying outside of our legs, can we enjoy that stretching between the shoulder blades, letting go of any tension or tightness that we may have been carrying in our upper back. When you're ready, let's come on up. We'll get a yoga block or a good, sturdy, solid book, and we'll do a yoga pose today for side body stretch called gate pose. So if you can come to a kneeling position towards the left end of your mat, we can hold our yoga block in our right hand. We can extend our right leg out to the side. If you would, please align heel with knee, and our toes are turned to the side wall, not forward. Okay, so we've got some hip rotation. We'll put our yoga block in our right hand behind the right thigh. Okay, this is a variation of a pose like a crescent moon, where we can inhale left arm and ribs up, and then curve our spine to the left, leaning into the support of that right arm. Now, can we keep our left shoulder up and back? Open up the space between chin and chest so we're not tucking the chin. Instead, we want that open space, and now we're letting our left ear turn up to the sky. Right side of the head reaching towards right shoulder. Then it's up to you. Would you like to try and bend your right elbow a bit, deepening your side body stretch, still being supported? And as we deepen side body stretch, does the right foot flatten a bit so that we're creating lots of length down the shin, front of ankle foot? Are we feeling any right inner thigh stretch? How's our balance on our knee? Let's inhale, come on up. And we'll exhale, come back to center. Whew, now's where we feel the hip difference, isn't it? We'll do a little knee walk to get to the other end of the mat. Okay. Again, please be welcome to use cushioning, pillows, folding your mat over top of itself if your knees want the support. Now our balance is to the right leg as we extend left leg out, aligning knee and heel. Toes are turned to our side wall. Yoga block can be tall or lower, but it's behind the thigh. I didn't cue it the last time. If you have any shoulder issues and it hurts to raise the arm, you can let the hand stay to the shoulder and simply think of raising the ribs up. We're curving our spine this time to our left. It's the right side body that gets to open and lengthen. Good. Keeping ear back over the shoulder. Keeping right shoulder rolled back so it's in line with the left, above the right hip. We don't want to let ourselves round forward this way. We want to keep it pulled back. And again, depending on your comfort level, perhaps we can exhale and bend that left elbow or put our yoga block to a lower level. How's left inner thigh feeling? Left hamstring feeling anything? Left calf, left shin. And then we'll inhale, come on up. And we'll come back to center. All right. From kneeling, we'll get our second yoga block, and we will do a low lunge with our mat ahead of us, in front of us. If our weight is to our right knee, let's extend the left leg forward. And now for our lunge, we simply shift our weight forward, seeing if we can center our hips between our knees, stacking left knee over the ankle, rolling shoulders back. Can we stack our shoulders above our hips? And in our low lunge, we getting some right groin stretch. Right quad, right shin, right top of foot stretch. If you want to challenge your balance, we can take the weight off the hands on the blocks, perhaps bringing our hands to our knees. We've just lost 2 balance points now. If we want more challenge, an option would be to roll the shoulders back, pointing to the ground, so now we only have foot and knee. If we want more challenge, we can raise our center of gravity by lifting arms up. Does any of this affect your balance? And if you'd like, you can lift heart center and hairline, and as we lift our gaze up to the sky, how does that affect not only our stretches, but our balance? Let's exhale, come on back down. We can step left knee back a side or right. If you would like, be welcome to sit in child's pose. And if you really want to stretch the shoulders, let your arms rest on your blocks and let your torso sink between the thighs. Feeling the width across the front of the chest and the shoulders.
and a little bit of a back bend as chest sinks towards the mat. Again, it's an option. If you prefer to do the more traditional child's pose, do what works best for you today. We need to do our second low lunge. So when you're ready, we'll come up out of our child's pose. We'll again bring the knees hip width apart, stacking hips above the knees. Now we can extend our right leg forward. And as we shift our weight to bring right knee over the ankle, move the foot as you need. Let left leg extend long behind. Again, can we center our hips between our knees? And now do we feel the back left groin, left shin stretching? Again, the option to use hands on blocks for 2 additional balance points. To challenge the balance more, the option to bring the hands to the knees. To roll the shoulders back, releasing the arms. To raise our center of gravity by raising our arms. And to change where we look, our focal point, by raising heart center and hairline. All ways that affect our balance. Let's exhale, bring it back down. From here, we'll bring the knees back. Can we set our blocks aside? And can we come up to stand without pushing off the floor with our hands? Okay. Yay, good job everybody. It's harder than it looks sometimes just because we've gotten in the habit of using the hands because they're there. However, independent living means keeping our leg muscles strong enough that we can get in and out of our furniture, our beds, our toilets without using assistance. Today we're going to do some moving balance. When we stand on one foot and try not to fall, that's balance. If we move and try not to fall, that's agility. So today, if we start in mountain pose, we're going to take our weight to our right foot. I'm going to step my left leg behind my right foot as I bend the right knee. I turn to face the left wall, and then I just step back to center. So let's do that 3 more times. Just left foot steps back, knee bends, we turn. Okay, and we come to center. If you're in a crowd of people, grocery store, a church, a family gathering, and someone calls your name and you may turn because you think they're behind you. Sideways movements are the biggest cause of falls, where we fall and we get injured. Now let's try it to the other direction. So this time weight is to your left foot. Your left knee is going to bend so that as your right foot steps back, you face the right wall, and then we come to center. Let that supporting knee bend so that it's safe for the knee. How about 2 more times, stepping back? How comfortable do you feel? Let your gaze go with your direction of your body. Can we alternate? Let's take left foot back and center, and then right foot back. And because our gaze is sweeping from one wall across the room to the other, does that changing viewpoint or focal point affect your balance at all? Are we remembering to breathe, please? And come on back to center. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and stand on both feet. They're hip width apart. Our normal balance is pretty good. What happens when we narrow the space between the feet? Maybe just bring the toes and the heels against each other, or as close as your knees and thighs permit. Do you feel your outer calf muscles sort of wobbling back and forth? That narrower foundation affects our balance. We'll make it even narrower by stepping left foot in front of right in tightrope pose. Now you can have toe touching heel, or you can have space. But how does narrowing that foundation even more affect your balance? Can we bring our weight equally between front and back foot? What happens if we switch and put our left foot behind our right foot? Does your balance change based on which is your forward foot? Can we we inhale the arms up, extended mountain. And now with weight to our right foot, let's pull left knee up so that we are standing just on one foot in one-legged extended mountain. Are we breathing? Are we getting a little stretch in the sides of the ribs and the waist? A little stretch through left side of lower back and glutes. And the exhale, come on down. If you'd like, roll through the shoulders and the toes. Okay. And let's see if switching our supporting leg affects our balance. So we'll inhale to our extended mountain. And with weight to the left foot, we bring the right knee up. Now our supporting leg, our left leg, means our left knee is gently relaxed. I'm not pushing it backwards. And I am sharing the weight equally between heels and the front half of the foot, the balls and the toes. How's that stretch in lower back and glutes? Sides of ribs. Slow, smooth breath. Exhale, come on down. That was excellent. Everybody was rock solid that was here in person. Good job. Okay. What happens if we take our leg to the back? We'll try standing locust. So again, we'll come to our extended mountain. If I take my weight to my left foot, from the lower back, the glutes, the hamstring, the whole right leg goes straight back. And our challenge is to try to keep our shoulders above our hips rather than tilting forward. In the process, are we feeling a little length through the abdomen? Are we perhaps feeling a little arch in our lower back? Exhale, if you'd like, with both feet down. We can do a standing forward bend, digging toes and balls of the feet into the mat to help support us as we lift tailbone to the sky. Hands can rest to thighs, shins. Be welcome to use a yoga block to bring the floor up to where your arms end. Using a block does not in any way denigrate what you are doing. Instead, using your block protects you by keeping the knees straight rather than locked backwards and hips pushed back. And it helps us keep our balance so that we don't worry about falling. When you're ready, we'll sweep the arms out behind us and up. We'll return to our extended mountain so that we can do our standing locust pose. This time taking our weight to the right foot and lifting left heel back. And we breathe. Lower back, glutes, hamstrings are working. Calf is long. Shoulders hopefully are above the hips. Are you feeling the right glute working the side that's supporting you? Let's bring the leg down. Again, we'll swan dive into our forward bend. Just relax. In fact, if you'd like, gently nod the head yes. And then as neck comes to rest, again, we'll sweep arms out and back and up. Now, let's open the arms out to the side, shoulder high. We'll walk our feet shoulder width apart. If you would, stand sideways on your mat. We are going to go from triangle into a balance pose. We'll turn both feet to the left. Now we are going to let our left foot push our hips to the right so that as we bend at left hip, our spine goes from vertical through diagonal. And can we keep arms reaching out parallel to the floor, reaching to the side walls? If you'd like, we can try for muddy cheese pose, which means my weight comes up on my left foot and keeping my heart center turned to the side wall, I'm going to try to bring right leg up in line with my hand. And then we'll release. We'll turn it back to mountain, coming down however you want. And you may have noticed that I fumbled a little bit coming down. Balance is tough. Don't be afraid to step down when you need to step down. Okay, let's try it to the other side. So again, our feet are about shoulder width apart. We turn to the right. Arms are shoulder high. Please make sure both feet turn to your right. Right foot pushes hips left, and we bend at that right hip. Good. Keeping left shoulder rolled back, stacked above right. Now for Marichi's pose, can we take our weight up onto that right foot and use your focal point, bring that left leg up as high as your hip. Shoulders are stacked vertically, hips are stacked vertically. And when you're ready, come on out. Whew, good job, everybody. Was that a toughie?
Yes.
And we thought Warrior 3 was tough. For balance, we're going to do Warrior 3 next, just to find out what a piece of cake Warrior 3 was. So whichever direction you care to face, we'll do the airplane version with arms out, shoulder high. We can take our weight to our right foot, touch your left big toe behind you. Now, right knee is relaxed. I'm going to let my weight shift back to my right heel so that as I raise the left heel up, that's what gets me to bend at the hip, and I'm pushing that left heel back. The challenge is to create a nice long straight line from crown of the head to the heel. In some schools of yoga, they teach, if you want more challenge, to extend the arms out beyond the head. If you have any lower back issues, let the arms stay shoulder high. Or if you have severe back issues, keep the arms back aside of your hips. When you're ready, come on up. Good job, everybody. Looked great. And we'll do the other side, because you know we can't walk out of here lopsided. So again, we come to our letter T. Notice, are your hands open as wide as your shoulders? Or do we get round back and slouch shoulders and have our hands in front? Let's roll those shoulders back, open the hands wide as the shoulders. Weight is to left foot, left heel, left knees relaxed, right toes touch back. And now as that right heel lifts up and pushes back behind me, that's what helps me keep my weight to my left heel. And we breathe. I'm using the mat beneath my eyes as my focal point. If you want the challenge of bringing the arms out beyond the head, there is that option. If you want the challenge of raising the neck to look to those extended arms, there is that option. Let's inhale, come up and out. Whew, and roll through the shoulders and the toes. So today we did balance sitting. We did balance kneeling in our kneeling plank. We did balance kneeling in our gate pose. We did balance on both feet, balance on one foot. So now can we come to sit to the mat, hopefully without using the hands to come down. Okay. Whether you cross the ankles, you do a squat, whatever works for you. Can we sit in easy pose, one ankle in front of the other? And we'll do a spinal twist now. So as we stack crown of the head over the tailbone, we'll do a breath in. Let's exhale, turning right. You can have left hand press against the left knee and inner thigh to help you turn. Seeing if that helps open that left knee out for a little more inner hip, inner thigh stretch. Or you can bring the left arm across the lap, pressing down against the right thigh to help you turn. And as we turn through the waist, the ribs, the chest, the shoulders, the neck, the chin, can you roll your eyes to look behind you? And breathe. When you're ready, again, a breath in. We'll exhale, come back to center. And since we have our legs crossed, can we hinge at the hips to do a seated forward bend? You can lean into the legs, using the weight of your torso to help open knees out, open hips and thighs. If you find that your hips are tight and they're up in the air, you can go ahead and reach around and gently pull against the shins to draw you forward. We still want to keep that straight line of the spine, open line of the chest. Notice, since we have our legs crossed unequally, does one hip feel the stretch more than the other? Let's inhale, come on up. And when you're ready, we'll reverse the crossing of our legs. If you need, use any cushioning for ankles, support for knees. And now we'll do our spinal twist left. So if you want, right hand can rest to right leg. We inhale to sit tall, And we exhale, turning left, pushing against the right leg, or bringing right arm across the lap to push against left leg. In addition to the twist through the waist and the spine, are we feeling some stretch in back of right shoulder? As the left hand reaches behind you to push against the floor or your yoga block to sit tall, are we feeling a little stretch in the front of our left shoulder? And we're breathing. Again, a breath in. We'll exhale, come back to center. If you'd like, do your breath in to open chest, and then add our forward bend at the hips. If knees are up in the air, there's also the option to bring a yoga block in front of you and lean into the yoga block. Some schools of yoga suggest reaching the arms out. I don't in alignment-based yoga because the more people reach their arms out, the greater the tendency to round the upper back and hunch the shoulders. And sadly, we do so much of that in day-to-day life that we don't want to encourage it to happen in yoga. So that's why I'm about keeping the arms fairly close to the body. When you're ready, inhale, come on up. Oh, stretch out those legs. If knees are stiff, bounce the knees a little bit. If hips are stiff, do windshield wiper movements with your legs. If you want to work your brain for a moment of mindfulness, while both feet go left and right at the same time, can we alternately cross one hand over top of the other? And remember to breathe. And can we smile and look like we're having fun? And as you start looking around, how long does it take to go, oops, you lost what you were doing and have to restart? Okay? Now we'll gently, alternately bounce the knees up and down. And let's roll both shoulders backwards, seeing if we can release any last tension in neck, shoulders, and upper back. And then from here, when you're ready, time to get settled for our closing relaxation. So whatever it is that you like to do in preparation, if you want a little core strength, you can sit and then slowly lower one vertebra at a time. I'm rolling through the tailbone. I'm rolling through the back of the pelvis. I'm rolling through the small of the back, and then the ribs come down, and the shoulders and the head. If you want a little bit of lower back stretch, be welcome to do knee to chest pose. You can rock side to side if that feels good. You can hook the arms behind the knees. Knees can be as close together or as wide apart as your ribs if you'd like. And whatever it is that helps you soften and relax, and to prepare for closing relaxation. If you'd like, we can release the arms and legs. And if you wish to extend the legs and lay in our Shavasana, our corpse pose, please be welcome to do so. If you'd like to put a pillow or a rolled up towel or your yoga block behind the back of the head to give your neck a little support, that's an option. If laying with legs fully extended makes your lower back uncomfortable, you can use a rolled up towel, a pillow, or a yoga block behind each thigh to create a little bend in the knee, and perhaps allow the knees to slightly roll to the outer edges of the heels, noticing if that helps make your lower back a little more comfortable. As we let our eyelids gently drift closed again. Now your focus is on what's happening in the world within you. If you find that you're still struggling with any worries, doubts, cares, or concerns, See if you can just let each exhalation of your breath gently carry them away, so that you can feel yourself just melting into the support of the floor, the mat, any yoga props that you are using. And we breathe slowly and deeply. Today, in our yoga practice, you did a really great job of following through with the day's affirmation, even before I told you what the affirmation is. Our affirmation for today are the 3 most important words that you can tell yourself. The 3 most important words that you can tell yourself are, yes, I can. Yes, I can. We all tend to be our own worst critic. And too often that little voice inside of us that talks to us is not only critical, it's judgmental. And sometimes it's downright mean. If our families or our best friends talk to us the same way our own little voice does, we'd be very hurt and upset. And we would tell that person about it. We'd call them out on it. Guess what, folks? If it's not okay for family and friends to denigrate you, it's not okay for that little inner voice to denigrate you. Don't let your inner voice put you down, judge you, criticize you, demean you. Your little voice is there for you. And that means it's to support you and encourage you, to help motivate you to be the best person that you can be. So the next time you get an idea, think, oh, wouldn't that be neat? And that little voice just jumps right in and says, don't even think about it. You can't begin to do it. Channel your inner 5-year-old and go, yes, I can. And prove that little voice wrong. Very, very few of us get things perfect the very first time. Sometimes we don't get them right the first 2 times, or 10 times, or 22 times. But it's like a baby learning to walk. How many times do they have to learn how to just be able to stand up before they can learn to walk? And nobody would criticize the baby and say, give it up, you can't do it. Instead, we encourage and we try to applaud them and be enthusiastic. Do the same for yourself. You're an adult. You deserve it. You've earned it. So when you get an idea and you hear that little voice go, oh, you're too old to do that. You have no idea how to begin to do that. Tell that little voice, I can do it. Yes, I can. And then take the steps to give it a try. And if you make a mess the first time, oh well. Baby didn't learn to stand up the first time it tried. Give yourself as many attempts as you need and feel comfortable doing. Laugh at the snafus, laugh at the boo-boos. Turn the epic fails into wonderful stories of how badly it went wrong, followed by what you learned from it and how you changed it to make it better the next time. Because everyone, yes, I can. Yes, you can. The 3 most important words you can tell yourself, yes, I can. And so with that inspirational and encouraging thought in our minds, we can begin to gently start bringing movement back into our bodies. Maybe a little wiggle of fingers, maybe a little movement of toes. We can let that movement spread out into our hands and wrists, to feet and ankles, so that as you find that you are ready, you can let your eyelids drift open
We can carefully roll to one side and use hands and arms to help push us back up to sit. Good job, everybody. Thank you for all of you that are here live and in person. Thank you for all of you that are joining us on the Community Arts Center YouTube channel, Arts for Healing. Have a wonderful afternoon, and remember, yes, I can. Yes, you can. Thank you, everybody. Namaste.